Good morning everyone, Mum and Dad back on the road. Right now they're on Palanca Street in Manila City. They'll be doing anti-illegal parking, clearing sidewalks of obstructions, maybe looking at the tricycles because there's many colorums that operate in this area. Let's see how it goes. You'll see the PMP are here to provide security to the team and to keep public order, peace and order. And over here they've just stopped this motorcycle. You can see the driver's wearing a bicycle helmet, and unfortunately the back passenger doesn't have any helmet. Unfortunately there's still many trailers here. They belong to that company over there. This truck was illegally parked, but he's just driven away. I'm not sure if he was already ticketed or not. There's more trucks and trailers parked further along the road, and I just verified now with MMDA Western District. They already ticketed the trucks. They were here a little bit earlier than Task Force Special Operations. Over here you'll see one of the enforcers writing out a ticket for this trailer. Unattended illegal parking, that's 2,000 peso, plus obstruction 1,000. So a total of 3,000 peso per trailer, per truck. And you'll see those trucks are now being taken inside the compound. Even the garbage people here were complaining about the parked trucks, saying it's hard to get through every day. And you'll see they're also looking at these tricycles parked here in the road. Actually there's a lot of obstructions here. I think that's an old abandoned barangay vehicle. I'm not exactly sure why it's like this, to be honest, because they could remove these tricycles, get rid of that abandoned vehicle, and then over here they could just remove all of these construction materials and then the road would be open. So I'm not exactly sure what the reason is for keeping this stuff here. And further along here are more trucks. Unfortunately they're often parked on both sides, so that brings a 4-lane road down to 2 lanes. Oh, they're stopping this motorcycle, young girl on the back without a helmet. And if you look on the front of each truck, you'll see they put the ticket on the windscreen, and if it's not moved within 3 hours, they can issue another ticket. And over here is a Comelec checkpoint. I actually like what they've done with these lights. It makes it very visible so you can see from far ahead. Pretty cool. And if you look at the sidewalk over here, you can see all of these stalls are back. All of these tents were confiscated before. I don't know if they gave them new tents or if they somehow got them back after they were confiscated. They call it a livelihood project, but the last time they checked there wasn't a permit. So we'll see if there's a permit this time. So the vendors have produced this letter. It's from the MTPB going to Jojo Garcia, General Manager of MMDA, basically saying that the vendors are allowed to operate there. So what you'll see is women, children, men having to walk in the road. Why? Sidewalks obstructed by vendors. But since they have approval from Manila City, I guess it's allowed. Over here they stopped this motorcycle rider, no helmet unfortunately, so they're just writing out a ticket now. So over here the MMDA are clearing the vendors that are on the main road, but those that are on the side road, they're permitted by the city. They applied for a hawker's permit, then they pay apparently 20 pesos per day to put their stall in the road. So the MMDA can't clear these. These vehicles are parked over here. They are part of the 180,000 peso MOA, the controversial MOA with MTPB. So they can't be issued tickets for illegal parking either. The vendors that are across from those, I'm not sure if they're permitted to be there. When it comes to Manila City, things are always a little bit more complicated because you can get a MOA. You can go to Manila City Hall, you can speak to MTPB, and if you're willing to pay, they will give you part of the road, they'll give you part of the sidewalk, and it makes things a little bit more complicated for the MMDA. And just like the McLaren, many of these are actually legitimate shops. You can see they've got a space inside, but for 20 pesos a day to extend over the sidewalk and extend into the road, that's very cheap space. So it doesn't surprise me that they do that. For those that have extended even further into the road, they're starting to confiscate the stuff that overhangs. Not the products, but the furniture, the boxes, the things like that. Over here they're loading up another unattended stall on the truck. They let the vendors take their produce off, but the structure or the trolley itself is going on the back of the truck. So although the MOA allows parking here, it doesn't allow the vendors to do their business here. So they're calling in the sidewalk clearing truck now, and they'll be taking care of the vendors. I imagine they're probably paying because there are parking boys along here that collect money if you want to park your vehicle. So if they're occupying a space with their vending cart, they're probably paying also for that. Many of the vendors are now rolling their stuff away because they saw the truck and they don't want it to be confiscated. But that does mean they'll probably roll it back later. In fact, that one over there, they're just pushing to the side. And I'm sure once the team leave, they'll push it back again. And here comes another motorcycle. You can see the lady on the back isn't wearing a helmet, unfortunately. Excess rider also. There's a little baby in the middle of them. That's very dangerous. I suspect the driver doesn't have a license based on the way he's acting. And I was right. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a driver's license. He only has a student permit, which allows him to learn to ride a motorcycle, but not to drive around like that. Since the MMDA aren't towing anymore, what they're doing is having the driver remove the plate and they'll confiscate it as a technical impounding. If you don't pay your MMDA tickets, you can't renew your registration and you can't renew your license. The problem is the driver doesn't have a license and that vehicle hasn't been registered for 3 years. So I suspect he might not pay his ticket and instead he might just drive around with no plate. That's the drawback of not having tow trucks. And one more motorcycle over here. The driver's wearing a bicycle helmet and the lady on the back doesn't have any helmet, unfortunately. One of the ladies that walked past spoke to the enforcers and asked if they can do anything about all these vendors on the sidewalk, because she doesn't like walking in the road and risking herself getting hit by vehicles. This is the thing though, when the city says it's okay, the MMDA are kindly restricted in what they can do. Over here they've stopped this motorcycle. Unfortunately both the driver and passenger without helmet. He's handed over his license, so they'll issue a ticket and send him on his way. They just stopped this motorcycle rider here, no helmet unfortunately, and he said he doesn't have a driver's license, so I guess maybe confiscate the plate again. Actually there's no plate to confiscate, so that won't work. Here's another motorcycle, unfortunately 2 riders, no helmets. They're just asking for the license now so they can issue a ticket and then send him on his way. This motorcycle over here was also stopped. There was a pregnant lady driving it. She doesn't have a driver's license, she only has a student permit, so they're writing out a ticket now. Unfortunately over here another road lost to vendors, impassable to cars, but you can go through on a motorcycle I guess. They stopped this lady over here on a motorcycle, not wearing a helmet. Unfortunately she won't give her license, she's calling someone. I don't know who she's gonna call, but let's wait and see how it plays out. If you look on the back of the bike you'll notice there's no plate either. The lady's now handing over her license. Over here the Western guys are issuing a ticket to this motorcycle rider. You can see the lady on the back, no helmet. And over here they're dealing with this man. Unfortunately he can't show a driver's license, also riding without a helmet. And over there they just stopped this car now, coding, so they'll issue a ticket and send them on their way. So unfortunately that vehicle that was stopped for coding is also unregistered. Last registration was 2016. This road here is the one that the MMDA cleared before at the request of the barangay, and you can see it's still clear, so that's a good result. And this is great, you have people from the barangay wearing no helmets, and they have a government plate on the back, a red plate. These are obviously the people that should be setting a good example. Apparently the guy was issued a ticket after all, but he's still riding around holding his helmet instead of wearing it. Incredible.